Hey everyone, maybe you remember me at these culvert pipes before, unclogging them in early 2020 and also about 2 years ago. They got clogged up. And this leads out to the big river. This is the lowest I've ever seen this water. Usually, those waterfalls aren't there. It's usually like a foot higher. But it hasn't rained in a while. This floods because the big river backs up. Now looking at them, they look pretty good. One of them may have a small clog, and we're gonna look into removing that. It's right there. That looks like a pretty easy clog to get rid of. Got my gloves right here just in case. But the main reason I'm out here today is because if I walk up the river, there is another culvert pipe going underneath another road, and this is the only way to access that. We're gonna go ahead and try to check that out. Not too big of a walk. It's not every day I'm gonna duck underneath that big cave spider's web. Oh, wow. That's not every day you see that. Usually spiders do not build across the pipe because a big animal like me would knock down their webs. But today is a different scenario. That entire tunnel has dozens of them blocking the entire thing. We're gonna go ahead and try to check out another pipe so I don't have to rip down all those webs. I doubt they did it to every single one, 'cause that's unusual. Yeah, this one doesn't have anything. A massive moth. This one has one. But there's clearance. Ducking my head, going right under. A little bit of a clog. Not much. Sun is just rising. Got a little bit of a clog. Let's get this out of here, and then we're gonna go for a walk. Look, right above these rapids, that looks like just a really calm canal. Let's go ahead and quickly get this out of here. The big pieces I'll throw to the side, but most of it I'm just gonna let go through the pipe with the current. Not gonna cause any kind of problem. I just showed you it goes out to a really big river that doesn't have culvert pipes. It has bridges, and it just will get dumped in the ocean. Chances are it probably won't even make it there. This stuff is waterlogged. It'll probably just sink, but let's get moving. All right, that was good. I didn't think we were gonna have enough current to pull that through the pipe because of our drought situation, but there was enough pressure. I can still see the clog inside the pipe moving along. It hasn't been hung up. So that means it's just gonna go until it falls out the other side. It's not gonna get stuck inside a smooth pipe, even if it gets hung up. Next time the water goes up, it'll be taken away. Here we are, down towards the big river. As far as we can go. This mud right here, I'm now in the mud so deep, and as I move around, look at that. I'm releasing so many methane gas bubbles. Makes the whole area smell like a giant fart. Because the water here is probably 2 feet deep, but there's another foot of just this really mushy mud, and as I walk, I'm releasing all kinds of gas being held beneath it. It's actually very challenging walking here, because if you make a too sudden move, you get tripped. There's so many logs here that are underwater. Probably even some of the logs that I've unclogged from that culvert. Just like I said, they would sink after coming out the other end, which they did. They're under the water, just rotting away. Do have some raccoon tracks here along the edge. Got this big island here. I bet that island wasn't there when they installed the pipes. It just formed from junk collecting. There's a bunch of debris here. That'll probably be a future clog. But this is what I was talking about. Look how smooth this is. There's not a single ripple in the water. The reflection is so nice. Although it is getting deeper as I walk. I might have to walk off to the side. That is some great scenery. I bet there's some pretty cool fish in this too. I might even have to walk up on the side. As you can see, there is a trail there created by the animals, because this is getting deeper and deeper, and walking off to the side isn't really cutting it. At least that side right there, the side is just as deep as the edge. Now you can see how this is like in a super perfect straight line. I think this was dug by the DOT like 40 years ago or something, whenever they put those pipes in, because it's just too perfect. But approximately 1,000 feet ahead or so, we will find another culvert going underneath the highway. That right there was just a main road. And as you can see, there's more piles of just random debris in the channel. That'll probably become a future clog down at those culverts. Got a little bit of beaver damage right there. This right here might be the start of a beaver dam, because I could feel stuff underneath here as I'm walking, like I'm crashing into sticks as I move along. And we're getting shallow again. I can even see a few ripples further up. So I'll be able to walk in the whole channel the entire way. Not deep anymore. Like halfway up. That's not a beaver lodge, is it? I doubt it. Might be a pile of junk that somebody just brought out here. But what I am seeing in the water are these things. They look like beavers, but they're really small. What do you call them? Muskrats, maybe? There might be muskrats in this water. Bunch of piles here. They look like beaver lodges, but the way they're out like that is unusual. I think they're just piles that somebody dumped there a while back. We're coming up to something. Finally made it. Pretty deep spot right there. So I walked the last quarter of the trip on the edge. We're finally here. There's 3 culvert pipes going underneath the highway. Let's try to make our way there. I have like a dozen black flies buzzing around my head following me. Hopefully I can lose them in here. They usually won't follow you in a culvert. This is kind of interesting. This culvert in the middle is higher than the 2 sides. They threw a bunch of rocks here for whatever reason. Now this culvert is a lot longer than it looks. The water's like a foot deep. Very still in here. No ripples. I'm walking at about 2 inches of sediment on the bottom of the pipe. Looks like there's no clog on the end of this. But there are a ton of spiders in here. I assume that pile of rocks at the end there is intentional to slow the water down. But why it's only in the middle one, I'm not sure. When I get down here, it's a possibility most of the water is angled at this one. And that's why we have over a foot of water in here. I'm gonna walk back through the one on our left. You can see in the corners of the culvert, the upper corners, there's a ton of spiders in here hanging out. You can see all their webs. This culvert looks fairly new. It looks like I'm gonna have to duck. A lot of the spiders are protruding, taking up a whole bunch of the tunnel. It looks like there's a little bit of stuff here. Probably beavers that did that. Oh, there's a lot of fish in here. A ton of them zooming by me. You can tell by how the plants are pushed over. This was raging a few days ago. Well, now it makes sense why there's so much water in there. This is definitely a beaver dam. You see? Got a pretty nice swamp here. Power lines, the sun is just coming up. By the looks of this, the beavers are gone. Notice there's nothing new here. The middle section is broken. There's no attempt of them repairing it. Everything here is old. They're not using this anymore. They are not using this pipe anymore. Gonna walk back in this one. Their dam is still pretty stable. Whoa. Got my foot caught in a hole. Unexpected hole right there. Caused by, you see the water? It's going under the dam digging. Got a banana slug right there, chugging along. All right, we're gonna start walking back. The beavers here are no longer active. This beaver dam is still holding up about a foot of water. We're gonna leave it alone. Most of the culvert is open. There is a very minimal flood risk here. Leave that alone. I do not destroy beaver dams unless it poses some type of hazard, such as flooding. That little pond right there looks to be like it is supporting a lot of life. You see all the plants that are in there? All those water plants would probably die off if I went ahead and removed that small dam. It's pretty much useless. Other times, I would remove it. If there was only one culvert here, I could see the beavers are no longer taking care of it, I probably would remove it then, because it's more likely the one culvert would get clogged. But as you can see, it looks like whoever's responsible for taking care of this pipe is aware of it, because the middle culvert has been removed. Now the water in this is just as deep as the other. What you're seeing right there is water inside the ground coming out of that crack. That's not a good sign. The water's not supposed to be coming out of that crack. There's designated holes it's supposed to be coming through. Not a big deal unless it continues for a long time. Oh, a big old fishing spider. Those ones are territorial. You only see a few of them in a pipe. Black widows, you see them everywhere, but that kind is territorial. It's most likely a female. The females are the only ones that get huge because they can hibernate and survive multiple years. The males do not hibernate. Got another giant one up there, approximately 3 inches spread out. They can get up to 5 or 6 inches, but that is pretty rare. You don't see a giant 6-inch spider too often. Not around here. We're out the other end. Now, when I was showing all those piles of debris on the way in here, and I was mentioning, well, that's probably going to be our clog next time. You know, it probably will. And you might be wondering, why am I not going to remove that from the river before it clogs up? It's because you gotta know when you're taking it too far. If I start clearing piles of debris out of the river, it's basically useless, because this river starts miles ahead, and in those miles of stretch, you know how many sticks and debris there probably are? Stuff would come down regardless and cause clogs. And most of the stuff passes through without an issue. It's when you get the perfect log that gets stuck and a bunch of stuff builds up against it. But also in most cases with a culvert, a clog will start building, but if it rains hard enough, the pressure will usually break the dam. Even beaver dams I've seen break in storm surge. But the reason you gotta do preventative maintenance and remove a clog is for the rare occasion that it doesn't break. The clog gets so bad, eventually the pipe disappears. Like, you can't even see it, it's not even noticeable, and that's when it's just so strong, it won't break, so the water goes over the road, ultimately taking it out. Got somebody's hunting chair here. Looks like they have a really bright light up there of some sort. Probably hunting deer here. We're gonna return back to the river because, at least in this area, a river is what you would call a right-of-way if it has a official name. This right here has an official name. It's actually a brook. If it was just a little trickle that's only for drainage, that you can't really walk up because it would be on private property. But because you cannot own the actual stream, so people can walk up it. Where I'm standing right now is private property, where that chair is. But what I do know is this channel here, the DOT actually owns 20 feet on each side, so I'm good here. We're gonna go ahead and walk back in the stream. It's too overgrown to walk on the side here. And it's gonna be easier for me to walk back because this time I'm going down. I'm not fighting the current on the way up. Hope this video was interesting. Thanks for watching.